Do you remember when Google literally had like a Feelin Lucky button on the homepage?
Yes. Yeah, yeah,
Why
yeah.
did they do that?
I mean, it's gotta feel good at some point, right? Like, I think that's why, right? Like, it feels serendipitous. It's something that you weren't expecting, right? Like,
I don't know what it did.
I think that's literally all it did. Like, it would serve you up a random page from somewhere, and sometimes it'd be cool. Like,
But
I don't
like,
know, they
was
used
it
to have, like,
related?
aggregators that did that stuff.
Was it related to your search or was it just a
No,
button?
it was
It
just a
was just a
random
button
thing.
that gave you a random web page?
Yeah, this is a random web page on the internet, yeah.
Okay, but they must have had a back end that was, like, getting rid of, like, all of, like, the porn websites or stuff like, because like,
Yes,
what
yeah.
haven't you seen those, like, percentage charts that are like, "This is the percentage of the internet that's cat videos, this is the
Mhm,
percentage
mhm.
that's, like, porn." It's like, they can't have a Feelin Lucky button that's, like, honestly equal because
Right.
you're gonna just get, like, porn and cat videos.
Yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah. I mean, it's true, but, it it's just a different way to approach the thing. I don't know. It's a
they were,
random
like,
thing.
teaching the world how to search the web.
I mean, kinda, kinda. I was thinking about, like, I think the website StumbleUpon did it a little bit better. Did you ever use that? Like,
Mm-mm.
that was a more interesting one. It would like, you could submit things for other people to stumble upon, and then they would be like, "Oh, that was cool," or "Oh, that wasn't so good." Back when, like, there wasn't really a way to aggregate all this sort of stuff, so you just, like, submitted it, and then on the other end, if you were like, "Oh, I'm kinda bored, I kinda wanna see something weird on the internet," you go on there, you stumble upon, and then you see a random website that you maybe had never seen before. So I think that's kind of where Google was trying to do it, but like, yeah, the variants made it very different, right? Because it was truly random versus something which is a little bit more random that has been curated, right? And those have different feelings on it.
That's wild. I
Yeah.
never knew about that.
Yeah. And you can do a lot with like the different feelings of random from that, right? Like it's like the difference between a coin flip or a difference between um like a roulette wheel versus like your skill in poker, like all of those have randomness in it, right? But like some of them react in different ways, some of them make you feel very different, right? Like, for example, if we want to take like roulette and blackjack, I think are good contrasting sorts of things, right? Like when you spin a roulette wheel, it's just like whatever comes up, right? Like you can adjust it slightly in terms of like how hard or how not hard do you spin the roulette wheel. But at the end, like you say you're going to do something, and then it's up to the universe to decide if that's going to happen, right?
Mhm.
Where blackjack, like you get your cards and poker, like, and you see what happens after you draw them. And then you sort of feel like, okay, that was the randomness. Now, what I do is in response to that randomness, right? Which I think is
Yeah.
interesting. Yeah.
It's also like roulette is like you have this percent chance always, and the percent chances never change. But
Hmm.
then, like a game like blackjack, it's like
Yeah.
depending on what cards are visible and not visible, and what cards you know have been played and haven't been played, you can calculate your odds of getting
Yes.
certain cards coming out next, and then that will
Right.
change whether or not it's better for you to hit or stay. They don't like when you
Right.
do that, but
No.
like you can do it, and it's like fun to see like the odds change, but like they
Yeah.
don't like when you do that, but you
Exactly.
can. So, it does feel a little bit less luck and more like you're doing something, like,
Hmm.
and it's interesting that it's like, I think statistically, if you were just to look at everything,
Yeah.
I don't know if the winners would actually be doing better in a skill game versus like a
Right.
chance game. Like
And that's kind of how they
overall,
balance it, right?
is it just chance? It's like that
Yeah.
thing where it's like, people who are professional investors all their
Hmm.
lives investing money in stocks, and, like, they never ever beat the S&P 500,
Right,
right?
because it's an
Like, it's
average of everything else, and
right,
you
it's like,
they're
it's an average, this is the
do
percentage
better
chance,
than on
it's gonna
average.
go up on an average this amount, and, like,
Yep.
that's it, and it's like, no amount of finagling and skill and talent or whatever is ever gonna beat that number over a certain amount of time, like,
Time, yeah.
yeah, and but it's like it feels very different, right? Like
Yes.
the amount of skill that you're putting in and like it's interesting that like in games on the back end, a lot of things are like that, where it's
Yeah.
like over a certain amount of players or over a certain amount of levels, like you're going to average out to this. And like that's
Mhm.
how we design levels, how we like make sure the difficulty's right, how we make sure you're spending the right amount of time. But if we make it feel too much like that, then it's like, why am I even playing this? It's a random number generator, right? Like
Right.
I want to feel like I'm playing blackjack and I know when to hit and when to stay. Because otherwise, like, what's the point of playing a video game? So it's like luck is a factor and like
Yeah.
doing that over amount of time is a factor and it's important, but the feeling of it, of those mechanics of like
Yeah.
literally, are you feeling lucky? Do you feel like this is like your chance? Do you feel like you've put something into it is so important.
Yeah, I think, one of our favorite examples that we talked about was, when you generate the loot inside of a treasure, and
Mhm.
if you knew about it, does that make a difference, right?
Yeah.
Because like you said, on the back end, like, it could be exactly the same. You could be like, "Oh, there's a 1 in 4 chance of you getting something really cool," and then the other, 3 out of 4 chances, it's gonna be something okay. But would you feel
But
better if, like, there's 3 treasure chests in front of you, and it was determined first what's in them, and you choose? Or there's 3, but no matter which one you choose, once you open it, that's when it's decided, right?
yeah,
Otherwise, like,
see,
everything is in a superposition.
for me personally, like when the treasure chests, when like door one, door two, door three are presented to me, it has to already be set what's behind each one, right? Because for me, I'm like, if I pick door
But it's the
two,
same.
I
It's the
know, but it's like,
same chance.
but if I pick door two and the thing is set behind it, then I've
Yeah,
picked that item. But if I pick door two and then you press the button to figure out which of the three things is behind it, my choice is irrelevant. I could have just hit the button, right? Like, it's
right.
like, why did I make a choice if I could have just hit the number randomizer button? My choice
But
doesn't mean
again, under
anything.
the hood, it's the same
It's
thing.
not the
Yeah.
same to me is the problem.
I
Like,
know.
it
But
doesn't feel like maybe that's me believing in something that's not real. Like, it's like, I know that it's the same thing, but in my
yeah,
heart, I feel like something would have called from me from another door, right? Or it's like,
yeah.
it's even like a I feel like if I pick a door and then you hit the number random generator, like, I don't get the credit if it's a good
Mhm.
thing. But
That's
if
another
you
part too, yeah.
yeah, like, but if there was something behind there, then I can, like, make up a story in my mind
Mhm.
about why I chose that
Like, I had
thing.
a feeling, right?
Yes,
Like, I
I
had a
had a
feeling it was
feeling.
the
I
center
knew
one.
it. I can, like, attribute that to myself, but,
Mhm.
like, if I pick a door and then you hit a button to number generate and you're like, "Oh, it's this one," then it's like, I feel like it wasn't me. Like, I'm not the one who did that, which is so
Exactly.
silly, but it feels like it.
Well, but that's why I think it's so funny, like, even just knowing a little bit about the system, right, like, changes it completely, because in any other way, if it's, like, the 3 and you open it and, you have a percent chance of opening it, fine, you just kinda, like, roll with it, right? But, like, if someone tells you ahead of time, it's gonna either, like you said, make it feel kinda cheap or make it feel like your actions don't mean anything, and that's interesting because I think, like, at the core of it, what we're trying to talk about in terms of this, like, feeling of it is actually 2 kinds of ways to approach the system and when the randomness occurs, right? So, like, um, if you have output randomness, that's kind of what we were talking about. The thing that doesn't really feel fair, or the thing that you can't really attribute yourself to, right? So when you open the treasure box at that time, it's determined what's inside of it. That's output randomness. And I do think that, like, by and large, a lot of the games that try and use it for some sort of suspense. It builds like some sort of tension, right? It does make it feel like it's out of your hands now and something's got to happen.
Mhm,
What I think is kind of weird though is that, like, this is also, for a lot of tabletop RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons, that sort of thing. This is the primary sort of way that they introduce randomness. You say you're going to do something, like, I'm going to dodge, and then you roll the die to see if it happened, right? Like, versus, the second thing that we'll talk about, where the randomness comes at the start and then you have to react to it, kind of like how when you populate the treasure chests first, and then you get a say about what you do. But even when you're like, "Oh, I'm gonna take an action and something weird is gonna happen at the end of it, something random is gonna happen at the end of it," there has to be some ways and some levers that you can pull to make the players feel like they have some sort of agency over that. Because, like you said, you don't want to be in this situation where it's like, oh, my choices don't matter. And this is partly why they introduce things like buffs. I think buffs are good too. Like in almost any RPG with like a party, there's usually a spell that you can cast on someone else to make their percent chance of doing something go up, right? Like, oh, I'm going to do this and your crits are going to go up. So you feel like you have some sort of um,
If
direct
it
effect on the
happens,
outcome.
it's
Exactly.
because of me, not
Right.
like if it happens, it happens, or if it happens,
Right.
then that's like how the numbers work. It's like, no, like if
Right.
it happens, it's because I did it. It's like you could have a 10% chance and then get
Hmm.
an item that buffs you by 0.5%. So now you're at a
Right.
total of 10.5%.
But you
But then if it
did
hits,
something about it,
it's
right? Yeah.
because of that 0.5% that
Right.
I've added into the equation, right? Like it
Right. Right.
doesn't, yeah, it's a lot about the feel. And like we said, it's like you don't want to play like dice flip
Hmm.
simulator, right? Like
Yeah.
you want it to feel like it's happening through luck. Like you don't want it to seem like it's scripted, like it is something, but it's like it should be luck that's based off of your own actions. Even
Hmm.
if it's called out as luck, it's like I'm doing this and that put me in the position to have this lucky draw, or I
Right.
made this choice and the choice was like made and then I got lucky because of my choice, but it's still somehow that's something that I did. It's not like every time that something happens that's random chance, it's under the
Hmm.
hood and you can't see it and you can't see the direct correlation between what you did and what
Right.
happened. That's like the main differentiator, I think.
Right. But there are some reasons why you would want to have this in here. Like, I'm going to go with the most evil one of them because why not? Right. Like, if you have an economy and you have loot boxes, then that's one of those things where you want to have the outcome. You want that output randomness. You want that intact because you don't necessarily want um, it to be predetermined because if someone figures it out, that breaks your economy, right? Like I know for a lot of like trading card games and stuff like that, they were trying to control over that and that sometimes hurt the card game because it would like everybody knew how to get this thing. Everybody knew how to min max this thing. And so the loot boxes or the booster packs didn't really make that much of an impact again, right? But, gotcha games use this all the time, and it's because there is some level of, like, "Oh, it's not me, it's the system, you can blame the system," and all that sort of stuff, but when it happens, that's also fun too because you're like, "Oh, yeah, I got this thing, that's cool." Still, though, it's one of those things that I think is more adversarial underneath the surface, or it feels more adversarial, right? Because you wanna
Yeah.
blame the computer for not doing it right.
Yeah. And I think that also like it stops feeling like luck. I
Yeah,
think, there's a difference between like knowing that you're playing a game, a computer game, and like there's a percent chance and there's a randomness, and like feeling like it's up to luck, right?
yeah,
Like there's functionally no difference. It's more
mhm,
just like the way that you view it in like, oh, my percent chance to hit is only 10 and let's see if
yeah,
it happens versus like I'm trying to get this thing and I'm going to keep doing it over and over and over again until I get it. It's like one starts to feel like a numbers game and one starts to feel like it's up to luck, and I
yeah,
think a lot of it is like how much of it is repetition and like
mhm,
are you trying to get something or are you trying to keep from losing something? Like is it a
right.
negative feeling, a positive feeling? It's like there's a lot that goes into it, but I think with game mechanics in particular, it's like it has to feel like it's a game. Like it has to feel like you're putting
Yeah.
stuff into it. Otherwise, you're just like watching something.
And that's also something where like the genre might make a difference, right? We talked about in horror games how part of it is that you don't know the outcome or there's still uncertainty there somewhere. So like in horror games, I think this kind of luck, the output randomness luck is interesting because it always keeps you on your toes. It's not predetermined. You don't really know what's going to happen next. And so you got to do it, and you got to face that uncertainty and sort of let go to a degree. Like it lets you adjust the probabilities before, right? Like maybe they have special items that like decrease some things or increase your crit, but at the end of the day, finally, like the system sort of decides like what happened based off of those actions. And in a horror game, that can actually work to your advantage because it's always like you're feeling on edge. There's never the certainty that you're going to get out of that in the way that you want to get out of that. And
Yeah.
yeah.
It's like what you said though, it's like they're setting you up with
Hmm.
randomness, and then you're doing actions with that
Yeah.
randomness, rather than, like, you're setting them up with, like, your stats and then you get an output, right? Like, both of them can work and both of them can feel good, but, like, getting a like, fresh setup that's totally random and then, like, having to play with that, and it's kind of about,
Yeah.
like, luck of the draw feels a lot
Right.
different than, like,
Yes.
putting in coins and money and then seeing what comes out at the end. Like, it's
Right.
similar to, like, I'm gonna shoot the gun and then, like, there's a 10% chance that it'll hit. Like, you're still, like, putting in your action and then getting something random, but it's like you're doing an action rather than, like, you're just, like, kind of pressing a button or putting something in. Like, it feels a little bit different.
Yeah. And what you're talking about now, right, like, is the input randomness. That's the other
Mhm.
side of it. So we have the output randomness. You do something, the output is random. Here, the input is random, and then you do something about it. But
No.
like you said, there's a lot more control that happens in this situation, and it feels, I think, in a lot of ways, it can feel more like a puzzle game, right? So this is like when in Balatro, you're like, okay, this is my hand, now what can I do with it, right? Like, so then you
Mhm.
start thinking like, is this a straight, is this a two pair, should I discard this in order to like try and draw some more, right? And then the turn starts again, the randomness happens at the start, so you draw, and then you solve the puzzle again, which
Yeah.
I really like. I'm all
Yeah,
about that.
especially in, like, a game like that where you feel like there is a luck of the draw, like, quite
Hmm.
literally, but
Yeah.
also, like, you do have elements of control over it
Yeah.
that you can influence, right? Like, if I wanna do a lot of straights, like or,
Yeah.
like, if I wanna do a lot of flushes,
Exactly.
I can remove cards or change cards or do whatever to,
Hmm.
like, make luck be more in my favor, and so
Yeah.
then when it does happen, it feels like an action that I did. But,
Right.
like, even if it's not, like, even if it's just total random at the start, then, like, you're still landing on, like, "Yeah, I got this very unlucky draw, but look at what I could do with it." Right?
Hmm.
Like,
Right.
you get some of that, like, on yourself is like, "I did this."
It's funny too, though, that like it feels like we were saying, like output randomness kind of feels adversarial. Like input randomness kind of feels like it could be something positive because like your baseline is always like you always know you're going to try and solve a problem or solve a puzzle. And sometimes the randomness that happens at the start is good for you. Sometimes it's average, right? But the fact that it happens and it feels like it's good for you puts it in so much more of a positive light. And I think that's literally why, like in Yu-Gi-Oh, it's like the heart of the cards. It feels good versus like, damn dice, like didn't do
Yeah.
it. Go to dice jail.
And it definitely keeps you on your toes, right? It's like you're anticipating and getting ready for this input to come so that you can do something with it rather
Yes.
than like putting in your stuff and then waiting for the output and then like it's done, right? Like
Yes.
one way or the other, it's done. Like maybe it's like a jackpot and you're like, yes, like you got the hit, you
Hmm.
got the crit, it feels really good, but then it's done. And this input side is like just the beginning and then it's waiting for you to have an action. So it's got a very
Yes.
clear next step which makes it
Yes.
feel a little bit more gamey than an output
Yeah.
random where it's like that is the next step, that's the
Right.
finisher. So,
And what's
yeah.
and what's interesting too is that like there's definitely I think more or at least it feels again it boils down to feel in a lot of ways because like the randomness can still be exactly the same. It's just when you see it and whether it's like I let it go to the universe, or here's what's happening right now. Go for it. Make the best of the situation, that sort of deal. And there's a lot of good games that do this. I mean, like, I think that's part of the reason why I like things like Magic the Gathering so much because it's like every turn is a new puzzle. I can see the board state. I can see what's going to happen. Maybe there's going to be something lucky on the draw that's going to help me out here.
Mhm.
Maybe there's not, but either way, like I have to make do with what I got and like That's the fun part for it, and a lot of games use that into a positive effect. So another cool one is like Into the Breach where that's input randomness. All the kaiju tell you what they're going to do at the start. You don't know what they're going to do at the start, right? But they telegraph that, and now you have to do something in response to it, right? Like you have to solve the puzzle and then set it up as best you can before like the next sort of round comes up. But what I think is kind of interesting about that, like, that's different from like other strategies like XCOM that have output randomness, is that you can actually know exactly how much damage you're going to deal because it's one of the tools to help you solve the puzzle, right? Where in XCOM, you can set them up, but at the end of it, you don't know how much damage you're going to actually deal to them. So it gives that uncertainty. That uncertainty pops up versus like feeling like being a mech pilot and outsmarting all of your opponents, right? With a really cool and greatly timed move.
Yeah, I love that game.
Me too. Randomness. It could be the exact same thing, but the presentation is so, so important. And depending on your genre, depending on like the feel that you want for the game, it can impact it quite a lot. This podcast was brought to you by viewers like you. Thank you. Follow us here and other platforms, and we'll be excited to talk more game dev in the future.